Okay, I apologize. That was a call from my office. The interpreter may be logging on soon. So that was the notification. But I think where I left off is please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person would not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you're currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that a crime has occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. you will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Finally, I need everyone to raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay. We have Ms. Tolles online now. Ms. Tolles, I understand we have 4 individuals on the male side and 1 individual on the female side.
Okay, Your Honor. Good morning.
It's 5 of them on the male side, sir.
I'm sorry, you said 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you, for the benefit of myself and Ms. Tolles, tell me the names of those individuals?
Yes, sir. The name of the people that don't speak English.
Robert English? Robert English? Robert English? Robert English?
I see an Alicia Luncheon, and I don't recognize the name. Are you representing someone?
Yes, Judge. I do have 2 clients today. There should be someone, Maurice and a Joshua. They're brothers.
What's their last name?
1 second. Maurice James and Joshua Dudley. Do we see them? You don't see them on the calendar?
I see James, but I see Dudley.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so ma'am, when we're done with the individuals that need the services of the interpreter, I will come to you.
Absolutely. No problem, Judge.
No, and just, for future reference, with this whole Zoom thing, it's kind of a whole different atmosphere. So if you're logging in, just identify yourself so that we can, get your clients and your cases up front so we can deal with it. So that was Maurice James and Joshua Dudley.
Right.
I have the name of the rest if you want.
I'm sorry, sir.
I had the name of the individual that don't speak English. I have their name if you want.
Okay, could you tell that to us for the benefit of myself and the interpreter?
Yes, sir. Is Contreras Armando, Contreras Javier, Mojica Jesus, Sandoval Santana, and the last one is Tellis Shea Camel.
And as far as the females, Your Honor, I have Araha Vani Rios, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The last name being Rios.
Okay. All right, so we have Contreras, and was it Tellis, Telles?
Telles.
And what was the other person?
Sandoval, Sandoval, DOVAL, Santana.
What I have on the list that I see is Sandoval Santana.
Santana
Valentine?
Valentine, that's the one, sir.
Okay. Okay.
And
Your Honor, who was it on the female side?
It was last name is Rios Aurelio. Viana, it looks like.
I found
VI.
it.
That's who I have, that's the female.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, since we have these 5 individuals, I'm going to go through the reading again of the script,
Yes, Your Honor.
and then we'll start with them. So on the female side, can you bring up Miss Rios Aurelio? And on the male side, could you have the Contreras brothers and Tellis and Sandoval come up so that I could read it to them, and then we'll do the males first, and then we'll switch over to the female side, and then we'll just keep going from there and switch back over to the male side. So I sent my, I called over, I got my second shot yesterday of the vaccine, and today is I'm kind of weathering through it. So everyone, please give me a little bit of grace.
Yes, John.
So we're waiting. It looks like the male side may have gotten disconnected. So I'm just
Okay.
waiting for them to log back in.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Ms. Toles, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you, Your Honor. How are you? Are you doing okay with those? The second shot. The second shot was difficult for me as well. The first
Yeah.
one wasn't too bad. Yeah.
I was feeling great yesterday when I got the shot, and today, not so great. Ms. Toles, have you received notice that you're needed in another court?
No, I had court this morning at 9.
Okay.
But nothing past 11 so far.
All right, because I was going to I was gonna just start with
Who's present now? That's fine.
yeah, with Ms. Rios.
Okay.
Just so we're not just waiting. Ms. Rios, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señora Ríos, si usted puede oír y entender a la intérprete.
They speak, they speak.
En voz alta.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Buenos días, señora. Esta es su comparecencia inicial ante la Sala Menor del Tribunal de Primera Instancia del Condado de Clayton.
I'm not here to take a plea in your case or to conduct a trial in your case.
No estoy aquí para tomar su declaración, acusaciones, tampoco para llevar a cabo un juicio en su caso.
I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you,
Estoy acá para informarle de las acusaciones formuladas en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
para informarle de ciertos derechos,
to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail,
para imponerle fianza para los delitos los cuales tengo la autorización de imponerle fianza,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
para programar su audiencia preliminar
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y también para determinar si usted requiere el asesoramiento de un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you.
Señora, usted tiene derecho de permanecer callada sin decir nada. Sí, pero si renuncia a ese derecho, cualquier cosa que diga se puede usar en su contra.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
Así que le pido, por favor, no hable de los hechos de su caso.
Go ahead, sir.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante esta diligencia y cualquiera ulterior, usted tendrá los siguientes derechos.
The right to the presumption of innocence.
El derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
The right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
el derecho a que el jurado de indagación le emite una acusación formal cuando se trata de delitos graves o que la fiscalía procede en su contra con una acusación general cuando se
Right,
trata
right.
de delitos menores.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Your Honor.
The right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
El derecho a un juicio público y sin demora ante un jurado.
The right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
El derecho a ver, a escuchar y a interrogar los testigos convocados a declarar en su contra.
The right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
El derecho a obligar que comparezcan testigos para que declaren a su favor.
The right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
El derecho de declarar en su propia en representación propia o presentar pruebas en su defensa.
The right to have an attorney represent you
El derecho a un abogado que la represente.
if you cannot afford an attorney. One can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si usted no pudiera costear los gastos de un abogado, se le podría designar uno de oficio sin costo alguno para usted.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Señora, quisiera que yo considere si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio.
perdón,
Excuse me,
no te escuché.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
Would you like me to repeat that, Your
Yes.
Honor?
yes, please.
Que sí, señora, usted quisiera que yo considere si usted cumple los requisitos para un abogado de oficio.
¿Puedo tener mi propio abogado?
Oh, yes. Can I have my own attorney?
Yes, you can. Is that your intention to hire your own lawyer?
Sí, señora, usted puede, pero ¿es su intención contratar a su propio abogado?
Sí, es que yo necesito hablar a México para que mi papá me mande el abogado.
The thing is, I need to make a call to Mexico so that my father can send me an attorney.
So you will have the opportunity to use a phone after this proceeding. I don't know if you will be able to make an international call. I just don't know that.
Bueno, señora, usted tendrá la oportunidad de utilizar el teléfono una vez terminada esta audiencia. Yo no sé si a usted se le va a permitir hacer una llamada internacional. La verdad, no lo sé.
O podré hacer una llamada aquí mismo también, porque tengo un tiempo para que él me mande un abogado aquí.
Could I make a phone call then to here then, so that I can have an attorney sent for me?
Repeat that, please.
Repita esa pregunta, señora, por favor.
Quiero que hablarle a un primo, pero mi celular lo tienen ustedes, o sea, se lo dejaron ayer.
I'd like a cousin of mine to make a phone call to my cousin, but my cell phone is here.
Hablarle a mi primo para que también él me mande un abogado ya está aquí.
And I'd like to make a call to my cousin so that he could get an attorney for me here.
So is her question that she needs access to her phone to call her cousin?
Su pregunta, señora, entonces es que usted necesita acceder su celular para poder llamar a su primo.
Sí, porque yo no me acuerdo del número.
Yes, because I don't remember the phone number.
I don't have an answer for that because I don't have control over the sheriff's department.
No tengo
Their
una
policies
respuesta.
are their policies.
No tengo una respuesta para esa pregunta, señora, porque no controlo la comisaría del sheriff y no sé cuál es la política de ellos sobre el uso del celular.
If you are unable to have access to your phone to call your cousin, you possibly could have access to your cousin through the through a bonding company.
Si no va a poder acceder al teléfono para llamar a su primo, posiblemente puede acceder a su primo a través de una compañía de fianzas.
And I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, ma'am, as it relates to that. But it's just one of those things where it's now common that people don't recall or remember phone numbers.
Y siento mucho no tener una mejor respuesta para usted referente a eso. Ahora es común que la gente no sabe de memoria o no recuerda los números de teléfono.
And I'm not in a
Yes.
position.
También ese es el mismo abogado, quería para mi novio. Queríamos buscar el mismo abogado.
I would also like to have the same attorney for my boyfriend. We would like to use the same attorney.
And who is her boyfriend?
¿Y quién es su novio, señora?
Valentín Sandoval Santana.
Valentín Sandoval Santana.
Okay. I cannot order that you and your boyfriend have the same lawyer.
No puedo mandar a que usted y su abogado tengan el mismo. No puedo mandar, perdón, a que usted y su novio tengan el mismo abogado.
No se puede.
It can't be done.
It can be done, but I cannot order it to be done.
Sí se puede. Lo que sucede es que yo no puedo mandar a que eso pase.
If you and your boyfriend want to have the same lawyer, that is a choice that you are free to make.
Si usted y su novio quieren el mismo abogado, entonces esa es una decisión que usted y su novio están en libertad al tomar.
Sí, queremos el mismo abogado, los dos. De igual manera le digo que es lo que yo necesito. Hablarle aquí a mi primo, él vive acá mismo, en California, para que él venga y vea lo del abogado. Él tiene un abogado.
Yes, that's what we would like, to have the same attorney. And as far as what I need to do, I need to call my cousin here in California so that he can come here and see about getting me an attorney.
Okay, Ms. Rios, you're gonna have a $10,000 bond.
Muy bien, señora. La fianza impuesta que tiene es de $10,000, señora.
¿Mande?
You-
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, Ms. Toles, were you saying that to me or to Ms. Rios?
Your Honor was repeating her words.
Ms. Rios, you're gonna have a $10,000 bond.
Señora Ríos, usted tendrá una fianza de $10,000.
Sí.
Yes.
You're going,
¿Para mi novio?
And for my boyfriend?
I can't discuss your boyfriend as it
Yo no-
relates to you. I will relay that information to him.
No le puedo dar los detalles sobre su novio cuando estoy hablando con usted, pero sí a
Okay.
él le voy a informar de
Okay.
su situación.
Sí,
Okay,
está bien.
that's fine.
Entiendo.
I understand.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning.
Su audiencia preliminar, señora, se señala para el día 9 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
9 de junio, la audiencia.
9th of June, the hearing.
Yes, and that date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Sí, señora. Y esta audiencia se renunciará una vez que usted salga en libertad bajo fianza y le mandará a notificar por correo la fecha de su próxima audiencia.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, you are free to go back.
Muy bien, señora, ya se puede retirar.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, let's switch back over to the mail side.
Please, Contreras, come here.
Let's bring up Mr. Contreras, Tellis, and Sandoval.
What tell us? You want Mojica too, sir?
I'm sorry.
You want all 5 of them?
Yes.
Mojica. You know.
Okay, so did you say that there were 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have 4 by my count. Contreras, Tellis, and Sandoval. Who is the fifth person?
Tellis, you said Tellis? Mojica,
Okay.
Mojica Hesses.
Okay. No problem. So my first question is for these 5 individuals is going to be whether they heard the presentation that I gave to Ms. Rios. So, Ms. Tolles, well, I'll start with, okay, gentlemen, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señores, ¿pueden ustedes oír y entender a la intérprete? Yes.
Did you hear the conversation I had with Ms. Rios?
¿Llegaron a escuchar la conversación que yo tuve con la señora Ríos? Yes.
Did you hear my recitation to her regarding her rights?
¿Y ustedes escucharon cuando yo le enumeré sus derechos?
Does anyone need me to repeat that recitation of rights?
¿Hay alguien que necesita que yo repite la lista de derechos?
Por favor.
Please.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, gentlemen, this is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Bueno, caballeros, esta es su comparecencia inicial ante la Sala Menor del Tribunal de Primera Instancias del Condado de Clayton.
My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court.
Yo soy el juez Brad Gardner, soy uno de los jueces en esta sala.
I'm not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
No estoy acá para llevar a cabo un juicio en su caso, tampoco para aceptar una declaración de acusaciones.
I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you,
Estoy acá para informarle de las acusaciones formuladas en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
para informarle de ciertos derechos,
to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail,
para imponerles fianza para los delitos los cuales tengo la autorización de imponerles fianza,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
para programar su audiencia preliminar,
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y también para determinar si requieren el asesoramiento de un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you.
Tienen el derecho a permanecer callados sin decir nada, pero si llegan a renunciar a ese derecho, cualquier cosa que digan se puede tomar en su contra.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
Así que por favor no hablen de los hechos de su caso.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante esta audiencia y cualquiera posterior tendrá los siguientes derechos.
The right to the presumption of innocence.
el derecho a ser presuntos inocentes,
The right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors.
el derecho a ser acusado formalmente por el jurado de indagación cuando se trata de la mayoría de los delitos graves o que proceden en su contra con una acusación formal, con una acusación general, cuando se trata de delitos menores.
Right to a speedy and public trial by jury.
El derecho a un juicio público y sin demora ante un jurado.
The right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you.
El derecho a ver, a escuchar y también a interrogar a los testigos convocados a declarar en su contra.
The right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf.
El derecho a obligar que comparezcan testigos para que declaren en su favor.
The right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense.
El derecho de dar su propio testimonio en representación propia o de presentar pruebas en su defensa.
The right to have an attorney represent you.
El derecho a un abogado que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si no tiene los medios para contratar un abogado, se le puede designar uno de oficio si cumple los requisitos.
Some of you will be allowed to post bonds, unrestricted bonds for your release.
Algunos de ustedes se le permitirán depositar fianza para salir en libertad y será una fianza sin restricciones.
And the bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property.
La fianza se puede depositar con efectivo, poniendo de garantía una propiedad o utilizando una compañía de fianzas.
If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office.
Si va a depositar en efectivo, alguien tendría que entregar el total de la fianza en efectivo más las tarifas correspondientes a la comisaría del sheriff.
The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case.
La comisaría del sheriff guardará los fondos, los cuales devolverá cuando se concluya el caso.
If you use a commercial bonding company, someone would have to pay a fee to the company for their service.
Si van a utilizar una compañía comercial de fianzas, alguien tendrá que pagarle una tarifa de servicio a la compañía.
The fee will not be returned.
Esa tarifa no se le devuelve.
I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based on a percentage of the bond.
Yo no sé cuál es la tarifa exacta que le van a cobrar, pero normalmente se basa en la cantidad de la fianza.
Finally, if you use property to post the bond, the property would need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond.
Por último, si eligen utilizar un inmueble o propiedad para garantizar su fianza, esa propiedad tiene que contar con un patrimonio neto de por lo menos 3 veces lo que es el valor de la fianza.
Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes tendrán condiciones especiales que conllevan la fianza, las cuales prohíben que tengan contacto con ciertas personas o que vayan a ciertos lugares.
This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form.
Esas condiciones especiales se le van a entregar en un formulario aparte.
You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail.
También se les prohibirá tener contacto con la víctima mientras están detenidos en la cárcel.
If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked.
Si incumplen esta orden judicial, su fianza quedará revocada.
And you could also receive additional charges.
Y también se le podría formular cargos o acusaciones adicionales.
It is important to note, I'm sorry. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond.
Es importante saber que si alguien figura como la presunta víctima en su caso, a esa persona no se le permite depositar la fianza para usted.
Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail.
Algunos de ustedes tienen acusaciones las cuales yo como juez no tengo la autorización de imponerles fianza.
In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date.
Si ese es su caso, una audiencia para determinar su fianza se programará ante un juez de la Sala Superior del Condado de Clayton y a usted se le informará de la fecha de la audiencia.
If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time.
Si actualmente está cumpliendo una condena de libertad condicional, no tengo la autorización de imponerle fianza en este momento.
Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest.
Para determinar si es apropiado imponerle fianza en este caso, esa decisión se tomará una vez que su agente de libertad condicional ha tenido la oportunidad de considerar estas nuevas acusaciones.
The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you.
El propósito de la audiencia preliminar es para determinar si existe suficiente motivo fundado para respaldar las alegaciones en su contra.
The standard at this stage is very low.
El estándar de lo que hay que probar en esa etapa jurídico es muy bajo.
A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred.
Para que un juez determine si un caso siga adelante o una acusación siga adelante en esta etapa, solamente tiene que determinar que sí es posible que el delito se cometió.
Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
Todos tienen derecho a renunciar a su derecho a la audiencia preliminar.
However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing.
Sin embargo, deberían primero consultar con un abogado para determinar si es apropiado renunciar o no su audiencia preliminar.
If you postpone, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived.
Si deposita fianza, la audiencia preliminar se renuncia automáticamente.
You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date.
Usted recibirá notificación de la próxima audiencia a la dirección que deja anotado en la cárcel.
Okay, let's start with Armando Contreras.
Comencemos, por favor, con el señor Armando Contreras.
Okay, would you raise your hand, please, sir?
Bueno, señor, levante la mano derecha, por favor.
Sir, you're charged with one count of possession of THC oil.
Bueno, señor, se le acusa de una acusación de tenencia de aceite THC.
And one count of obstructing an officer.
Y una acusación de obstrucción a un agente de policía.
I've set your total bond at $6,000.
Yo he determinado que su fianza total será $6,000.
Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
¿Piensa que va a poder depositar la fianza, señor? Yes.
Okay. You can put your you can put your hand down, sir.
Muy bien, señor, ya puede bajar la mano.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for June 9th.
Señor, su audiencia preliminar se señala para el 9 de junio.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out.
Esta audiencia se renunciará una vez que usted deposita fianza y sale de la cárcel.
And you will receive a new court date in the mail.
Y luego después recibirá por correo la notificación de su próxima audiencia.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Señor, ¿quiere que yo determine si usted cumple requisitos para un abogado? ¿Cómo? Yes.
How much do you make per hour or per month, Mr. Contreras?
Señor Contreras, ¿cuánto está ganando por hora o por mes?
Por hora, $16.
Per hour, $16.
Okay. You qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Muy bien, señor. Usted sí reúne requisitos para el abogado de oficio. ¿Tiene alguna pregunta para mí?
No escuché.
I didn't hear. May the interpreter repeat the question, Your Honor?
Yes.
Que ya usted sí reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio y ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí?
Pues, nomás digo, si pagamos la fianza, nos vamos al abogado.
Que sí.
Si pagamos la fianza, nos vamos al abogado.
So once we pay the bond, we don't have the attorney?
No, the bond is not connected to the attorney.
No, señor, la fianza no está vinculada con el abogado.
No.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
¿Alguna pregunta más?
No.
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Muy bien, señor, ya se puede retirar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Mr. Looks like Javier Contreras.
Luego, señor Javier Contreras.
Sir, you've also been charged with one count of violation of the violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act.
Muy bien. Señor, usted también se encuentra acusada de una delito de incumplir la ley de Georgia sobre sustancias controladas.
Your bond also is going to be $6,500.
También tendrá una fianza de $6,500.
And you can lower your hand.
Puede bajar la mano, señor.
Do you believe you can make that bond, sir?
¿Piensa que sí puede depositar esa fianza, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Después son familiares, para que lo depositen.
Yes, I'm going to contact a family member to have him post it.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Quisiera que yo vea si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio, señor. Yes.
How much do you make per hour or per month?
¿Cuánto gana usted, señor, por hora o por mes?
Por hora $16. $16 por hora.
I make $16 an hour.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Bueno, señor, usted sí cumple los requisitos, así que voy a designar un abogado para usted.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning.
Su audiencia preliminar, señor, se señala para el 9 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out.
Esta audiencia, señor, se renunciará una vez que usted ha salido bajo fianza.
And you will receive a new court date in the mail.
Y luego recibirá, señor, la notificación de la nueva audiencia por correo.
Do you have
Okay.
any questions of me?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí, señor?
No, soy doctor.
No, that's all.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Muy bien, señor, ya se puede retirar. Gracias.
Mr. Mojica.
Señor Mojica.
Mr. Mojica, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor Mojica, ¿puede usted puede oír y entender a la intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
And you can lower your hand, sir.
Puede bajar la mano, señor.
You've been charged with one count of trafficking in narcotics.
Se le acusa de una acusación de un delito de tráfico de narcóticos.
I'm gonna set the bail at $20,000.
Voy a ponerle una fianza de $20,000.
Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
¿Piensa que va a poder depositar la fianza, señor? Yes.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th.
Su audiencia preliminar se programa para el día 9 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana, señor.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out.
Y una vez que usted haya salido en libertad bajo fianza, perdón, la audiencia se renunciará
And you'll receive a new court date in the mail.
y recibirá una nueva audiencia por correo. Okay.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Quisiera si yo determine si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio, señor.
Creo que van a poner uno.
I think they're going to get me one.
Okay, do you have any questions of me, Mr. Mojica?
Bueno, señor Mojica, ¿alguna pregunta más para mí?
No.
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Muy bien, señor, ya se puede retirar.
Mr. Sandoval.
Señor Sandoval,
Sir, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
señor, ¿puede usted oír y entender a la intérprete? Yes.
In charged with trafficking and methamphetamine and improper erratic lane change?
Bueno, señor, a usted se le acusa de tráfico de metanfetaminas y también de cambiarse de carril inapropiada o erráticamente.
Your bond is going to be set at $10,500.
Se le impone una fianza de $10,500.
Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
¿Piensa que sí va a poder depositar la fianza, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning.
Su audiencia preliminar se señala para el 9 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll receive a new court date in the mail.
Esta audiencia se renunciará una vez que haya salido de la cárcel bajo fianza y le notificará de la nueva audiencia por correo.
Una
Okay.
pregunta.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
Necesito hablar para México porque igual con mi esposa y a mí necesitamos que nos den permiso de hacer una llamada.
I need to make a call to Mexico, the same as my wife, but we need permission to use the phone.
So, sir, I cannot order the sheriff's department to allow you to make international calls.
Señor, es que no puedo mandar a la comisaría del sheriff permitirle hacer una llamada internacional.
O igual aquí la puedo hacer, pero
Or I could do it here.
You will be allowed to use the telephone,
A usted sí le va a permitir utilizar el teléfono, señor.
and you will be able to call whomever you wish to call.
Y así a usted se le permitirá llamar a quien quisiera llamar.
ok, nada más que necesito sacar un número de mi teléfono.
The only thing is I need to get the phone number out of my phone.
And that's something that I cannot order the sheriff's department to give you access to your phone.
Y eso es otra cosa que yo no puedo mandar a la comisaría del sheriff, permitirle acceso para sacar información de su teléfono.
So it's something that you may need to contact the bonding company about.
Entonces, tal vez sobre esto usted debería hablar con la compañía de fianzas.
Or you may need to hire a lawyer.
O posiblemente tendrá que contratar a un abogado.
Sí, es lo que quiero hablar para contratar un abogado. Es lo que está diciendo mi esposa, es lo que necesitamos es hablar para contratar un abogado.
That's what I need to do, is to make a call so that I can hire an attorney. That's what I was mentioning about with my wife. Excuse me.
Mr. Sandoval, do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Bueno, señor Sandoval, ¿quiere que yo vea si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio?
Sí,
Yes.
How much do you make per hour or per month?
¿Cuánto está ganando el señor por hora o por mes?
14 la hora.
$14 an hour.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Bueno, señor, usted sí cumple los requisitos y voy a nombrar un abogado para representarlo.
Okay.
Okay.
And I would say, Mr. Sandoval, based upon the allegations, this is something that in the future you and your wife should kind of prepare for the prospect that you may get arrested.
Y considerando las alegaciones, señor, yo diría que usted y su esposo deberían prepararse por la posibilidad de caer arrestados.
And have information memorized so that you can contact the people you need to contact.
Y así tener información memorizada, así puede comunicarse con las personas a las que necesita contactar.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, sir?
¿Alguna pregunta más, señor?
Nada más eso de que sí necesito hablar por teléfono.
I just need to use the phone.
You will be allowed to use the phone when you go back after this proceeding.
Sí se le permitirá, señor, utilizar el teléfono una vez que usted regresa después de esa audiencia.
¿Perdón?
Excuse me? Your Honor, would you like me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Que a usted se le permitirá usar el teléfono una vez que usted regresa después de esta audiencia.
¿Para cuándo la audiencia? ¿Para el 9 de junio?
When is the hearing? Is it the 9th of June?
It's currently set for the 9th, but if you bond out, it will get reset to a different date and you'll get the information in the mail.
Actualmente su audiencia preliminar está programada para el día 9, pero si sale en libertad bajo fianza, se postergará su próxima audiencia y le notificará por correo de su nueva audiencia.
Sí, pero solamente necesito hablar por teléfono para que deposite para la fianza.
Right, but I just need to make a phone call so that my bond can be posted.
And you will be allowed to use the phone when you leave this proceeding.
Sí, señor, y cuando usted sale de esta audiencia de ahora, a usted se le va a permitir usar el teléfono.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Muy bien, señor, ya se puede retirar.
And finally, we have Mr. Tellis.
Por último, tenemos al señor Telles.
Sir, you've been charged with can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Bueno, señor, ¿puede usted oír y entender al intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
You've been charged with 1 count of battery.
Señor, a usted se le acusa de una infracción de violencia.
The bond is going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
La fianza se le impone a $5,000. ¿Piensa que va a poder depositar la fianza, señor?
No.
No.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Quisiera, señor, que yo determine si usted cumple requisitos para un abogado de oficio.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you currently working?
¿Está trabajando actualmente?
Sí, yo tengo trabajo.
Yes, I have a job.
How much do you make per hour or per month?
¿Y cuánto está ganando por hora o mensual?
No gano mucho, gano como $10 la hora.
I don't make a lot. I earn about $10 an hour.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Usted sí cumple requisitos. Voy a designar un abogado de oficio para representarlo.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
Su audiencia preliminar se programará para el 8 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out.
Esta audiencia se renunciará una vez que usted salga bajo fianza.
I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds in Clayton County.
Le exhorto a que contacte las compañías de fianzas que tengan la autorización de hacer fianzas aquí en el condado de Clayton.
They will assist you in getting out.
Ellos sí le pueden ayudar a salir en libertad bajo fianza.
You just need to tell them your charges, your name, and the bond amount.
Solamente les tiene que informar de sus acusaciones, su nombre y la cantidad de la fianza, señor.
Okay.
Any,
Okay.
any questions, sir?
¿Alguna pregunta, señor?
Sí, ayer cuando entré ahí, me dijeron que tenía una corte pendiente de hace como 13 años atrás.
13?
13.
Yes, when I came in here, they said that I had a pending court date from 13 years back.
I don't know anything about that, sir, but if the sheriff's department told you that, they have valid information to support it.
Bueno, señor, yo no sé nada al respecto, pero si los de la comisaría del sheriff le informó de eso, ellos tienen información válida para respaldar eso.
Eso es lo que me dijeron. Y yo lo que sé es que yo pagué esa corte, estuve 31 días en cárcel por ese problema que estuve en Riverdale.
Well, I know that I paid for that court matter because I was in jail for 31 days.
Okay, I accept that, sir. That's something that I don't have control over.
Bueno, señor, acepto lo que está diciendo, pero es algo que yo no controlo. Okay.
All right, sir, you're free to go back.
Se puede retirar, señor.
¿Me puedes saber de última?
May I ask another question?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
Ok. Sobre lo que tuve la problemática yo con mi esposa, yo solo traté de defenderme. Solo lo que hice fue agarrar las manos a ella así y poner las manos así. En cambio, ella agarró un zapato y me pegó a mí aquí, ¿entiendes?
So with this situation with my wife, I only tried to defend myself. I just held her hands like this so she wouldn't grab me like this. And then she hit me here.
So, this is something that you should discuss with your lawyer, because your lawyer is the person that is there to defend you.
Bueno, señor, esos detalles los deberían hablar con su abogado, porque el abogado está ahí para defenderlo.
And based upon discussions with yourself and your lawyer, you can tell or strike that. Based upon your discussions with your lawyer can adequately defend you before the appropriate judge.
Y basándose en las pláticas que usted vaya a tener con el abogado le puede defender apropiadamente con el juez que corresponde.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Muy bien, señor. Ya se puede retirar. Gracias.
All right, so we got two, Mr. Dudley and Mr. James on the male side, and we'll flip over to the female side. Ms. Toles, thank you once again for your services and have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Feel better.
You're welcome.
Shayna Anderson.
Hold on, Ms. Anderson. We have two people on the male side that I need to deal with this private attorney.
If you have an attorney.
Ms. Luncheon? You keep cutting your
You
camera
know
off.
what? Some judges don't like me to be on when I'm not speaking, so that's why.
Oh, no problem. This whole Zoom stuff, I tell people I was trained in the law, not as being an IT professional. So do you have a preference as to whom you want to deal with first? You're muted.
I'll go at the court's pleasure, Judge.
All right, so we have Mr. Dudley and Mr. James, correct? Those are your two clients?
That's right, Judge.
And Mr. Dudley is charged with obstructing an officer, disorderly conduct, and harboring a fugitive. I have preemptively set a bond of $3,500, but I will listen to you as to anything you have to say as it relates to your client and bond.
And are we beginning with Mr. James?
Mr. Dudley.
Okay. Well, they're brothers, Judge, as I discussed earlier. They've lived here since elementary school. Their mom is here. I'm not going to get too much into the facts of the case at this time because I don't think that would be proper here, Judge. But what I'll say is I do think we could defend against these charges. That obstruction was, the officer charged him with obstruction, though he didn't even know that his brother was in the home, but we'll get into that later. I would say they do have community ties, and they've actually just started a construction business together, and that their mom sent me over their business card yesterday. So they are gainfully employed and are members of the community. From what I understand, Judge, neither one of them has any prior convictions that they would be afraid of reoffending or not coming back to court. And so we would ask if the court is so inclined to set the bond at any lower amount, we would request a signature bond in this case, Judge. But if the court's not inclined, we would ask the court to set a bond no higher than $2,000.
Okay, so the current process for when people ask for which I've learned the appropriate term is UJR bond.
That's right. I forgot about that. They changed it, Judge. That's right.
Yes. So they would basically have to sit in jail for a day for me to speak to the chief about this, because she's the person that is authorized to grant those bonds. And it's something that last week I had a bunch of people asking for it, and she denied all of them.
All right, Judge. Then we are not going to request a signature bond. I don't want them to stay in there any longer than they need to stay in there.
Okay. So I'm just to be clear, because I gotta been on track. I'm just dealing with Mr. Dudley right now, not Mr. James. Hold on. I'm looking through. Always when people ask, I give them the benefit of going back and double checking what I did before. Okay, so Mr. Dudley. He has 4 cycles on his GCIC, which means 4 interactions with the with law enforcement, theft by taking, suspended license. And then discharge. So I set the just so you know, counsel, for the obstructing an officer, I set the bond at $1,000. The apprehension or hindering the apprehension of a fugitive, I set it at $1,000. And the disorderly conduct is set by schedule, which means it's automatically set at $1,500. So the $1,000 mark is generally the lower amount that a bonding company will write a bond on. So I'm going to leave it the way that it is as it relates to these 3 charges for Mr. Dudley. So he's going to have a total bond of $3,500. He's going to have a preliminary hearing date for June 8th, and that date will get waived or reset upon his bonding out, and he'll get a new court date in the mail. Is there anything else that you want to address as it relates to Mr. Dudley?
No, Judge, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. James, possession of firearm by a convicted felon and theft by receiving stolen property. I preliminarily set the bond at $7,000. But again, I will hear you as to anything you have to say about Mr. James.
And Judge, did you say that was my notes were theft by receiving stolen property? Is that what, and possession of a firearm?
Yes, I'm sorry. It was possession of firearm by a convicted felon and theft by receiving stolen property are the 2 charges.
Yes, Judge. This client actually he was scheduled, according to his mother, for pancreatic surgery the day he was arrested. He does have some health issues, and hopefully he can be released on a reasonable bond so that he can get into the hospital. He was actually in the hospital from about the end of January all the way to February for pancreatitis. And they put a stent, is what his mother said, inside of him. And so we're hoping we can get him out and get him back in there. Again, he's also, what I understand is that he actually went to college and he played football in college. He is a great member of society, Judge. Again, he has the construction business that he has with his brother. Although he is gainfully employed, we do think that $7,500 might be a difficult bond for him to make, particularly for these charges where the allegation, I believe, is that there was a gun that may or may not have had a sawed-off serial number. I'm not really sure how they're connecting it to that he knew that that property was stolen, or that the gun was even on him, Judge. And so we would request for a lower bond in that case.
Well, it says in the warrant that was sworn out that Mr. James admitted that the gun belonged to him, and he said it was given to him by an unknown person, and that the identification serial number on the gun was scratched out. So it seems like so I'm going to engage you in conversation. Okay, so this is not like I'm having one position or not, but it would seem like this could fit into the category or of willful blindness. That if he's saying somebody gave me this gun and
what I understand about guns is serial numbers are on the gun, at least the weapons that I own. And if you're given a gun and it's the serial number is scratched off, that may be some indicators of where you may need to ask additional questions about it. What will be your response to that?
Judge, you could say that, Judge. I don't know that the average person on the street is thinking, somebody gave me this gun and they stole it and they gave it to me, particularly if he's saying somebody he doesn't even know or remember the individual at the time who gave it to him. But what I really want to hit on today, particularly, are his health issues. And that's really why I'm requesting a lower bond, because he had the surgery scheduled, according to his mother, the day that he was apprehended and arrested.
So that sounds to me like a convenience argument. My child has a recital tonight, so even though I robbed a bank yesterday, I need to get out so I can go to my child's recital.
No, Judge, I wouldn't say that. I would say that rises to a much higher level than what we see here. What we see here is someone who is charged with a nonviolent offense, who is alleged to have had a firearm, not to have shot the firearm or done an aggravated assault or anything of that nature. I don't believe that this is a matter of the surgery was already scheduled, Judge, and this is a health issue versus just appearing at a recital or something of that nature. He was in the hospital for a very long time prior to this, and he was hoping to get that fixed that day. And so I don't think this compares to the example that the court just put forward.
So the possession of let's say a stolen firearm. Mm-hmm. If I hear your argument, the possession of a stolen firearm is separate from using a stolen firearm to shoot somebody.
It is. One is a nonviolent offense, Judge. That's right. But
if you never obtain a stolen firearm, you wouldn't have it to shoot someone.
Okay.
So the thing that I try to do, because I still am a defense lawyer, I'm a part-time judge, mm-hmm. But I have tons of clients who made poor decisions because they had the ability to make the poor decision. So if they never purchased the stolen firearm or was given a firearm, they wouldn't have that firearm to shoot someone that led them to my defending them in a death penalty case.
Mm-hmm. I have a few responses to that.
So my position is, if we stop stuff, misdemeanors lead to felonies, felonies lead to capital cases. If we stop it on the low end, where Mr. James will say, hey, I don't want to touch that gun because you're gonna give it to me and the serial number is altered. I'm not gonna touch that because I don't know what has happened with that gun. That gun may have killed someone. That gun may lead to me facing capital charges. That gun may lead to me to have all kinds of things down the road. That if we start there, it stops the stuff on the other side. So if you never put gas in your car, it's gonna stop. That's why you put gas in your car. But if you say, well, hey, I can just drive the car without gas forever, it takes a level of culpability away from you as to caring for the car. But for Mr. James, I think it's fair for $7,000 bond. But I'll give you the final, argument.
That's right, Judge. And as a final argument, because you are a defense attorney, Judge, you know, you're well aware that we're here under the Ayala factors. And so I would bring the court back to that, right? Whether he's a flight risk, whether he's a risk of not showing back up for court. And you already know, Judge, that the point of a bond is to ensure the defendant's present in court today, or whenever the next court hearing will be. And that's why I've been touching on the community ties, the jobs that he has, he's gone to college here, played ball here, has family here, his mother, his girlfriend, their family has been extremely supportive here. And so that's what I really want to focus on instead of the allegations here, which, you know, Judge, he hasn't been convicted of. We don't know what's going to happen when this case gets before the prosecutor and before a judge, or potentially a trial. And so I want to focus away from those allegations and more so on the Ayala factors. And I believe he does satisfy those factors. And you have set a bond. We're just asking for that bond to be a little bit lower than the court has set it today.
Okay, Ms. Luncheon. You have persuaded me. I'm going to have a total bond set at $5,000. I'm going to reduce the possession of firearm by a convicted felon from $5,000 to $3,000. And the theft by receiving stolen property is set by schedule. So he's going to have a total bond set at $5,000.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know when to be quiet. So thank you, Judge.
No, thank you. And you, if you don't have anything else, you're free to go.
That's it. So Mr. Dudley and Mr. James, I'll be in contact with your family, okay? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dudley, Mr. James are free to go. Okay, let's switch over to the ladies' side.
Ma'am, let's try this again. Just step back a little bit.
And okay, are you Miss Anderson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery, 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Tessa Tatum. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Are you Miss Brooks?
Sir, yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. I've set the bond at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I set that bond at the amount because that's what I understand is the lowest amount that a bonding company will write a bond on. So you can pay the whole amount to the sheriff's department and get that money back, or you can pay a percentage to a bonding company. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th, 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Let's see. So the 1,000, I'd have to pay 10%.
Approximately, yes. The bonding companies, my understanding is that is generally 10 to 12% of the bond amount, but I also understand that they will work with people and will put people on payment plans. So it will be your duty though to contact them and to see exactly what they're going to do in your case.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Next.
You're Ms. Butler.
Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. You're charged with 1 count of driving under the influence of alcohol, 1 count of improper lane change. You're gonna have a total bond set of $5,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
No,
You do not?
no,
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yes, please.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies because they will work with you. Okay? Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Is there a possible way that my bond could be lowered so I could get out earlier? I am a full-time college student and I have some final papers and final projects that are actually due tomorrow. And school semester is wrapping up in April.
So there's sort of like a general schedule or internal schedule that we have as it relates to specific offenses, and for driving under the influence, the current internal bond amount is $5,000. Let me go back and look at your criminal history. Okay, so I see you have a prior arrest as it relates to possession of marijuana.
Yes, sir.
So, ma'am, it seems from what that is written in this warrant that you drove off the roadway and struck a tree.
Yes, sir. Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so of that incident, I feel like my drink, because I was drinking that night, I only had 2 drinks, but I feel like my drink was tampered with because from, I want to say 1:00 a.m. to the time that I was found, I don't remember anything. I just woke up and the cops were everywhere. People were trying to get me out of my car. And that's why I feel like my drink was tampered with.
It doesn't mention that in the warrant. Is that something that you conveyed to the officer?
It is, but they really didn't want to listen to me. I was also hyperventilating. I was having like a panic attack. So I guess they thought I was okay. I also did not get checked out by the EMS. They kind of just arrested me and brought me to jail.
Mm. It says that you admitted to having 3 shots of tequila.
Okay. That's something I really can't remember. But yeah, it had to be about 2 or 3 shots. Yes, sir.
Mm. So the amount that's set for the DUI is really the lower, it's the lowest actually setting that we have internally as it relates to this. I'm gonna leave the bond the way that it is. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it the way that it is. Did I tell you about the preliminary hearing date?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, Ms. Butler?
No. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back. Are you Miss, is it Lucia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $2,000, but I've also set a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a mirror cruise. Do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
No, sir.
You said no. Okay, do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, are you currently working?
I start tomorrow. The reason why that I didn't know anything was going on because no one had my address. Had an address. I was listed homeless. But now that I stay in a group home for pregnant women, I do have a valid address to give y'all.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're currently pregnant?
Yes,
How far along are you?
I'll be 5 months next week.
Ma'am, so you don't have to answer this question, but what was the basis of this argument or fight with your sister?
We was talking as me being a big sister as her asking what's going on because she thought that someone was trying to harm my little niece that she has. and I was telling her my nephew was putting their things back in her room. And I asked her while she was in the bathroom why everybody is targeting me and not trying to talk to me or nothing because I'm pregnant. They're not accepting the fact that I am, and I wasn't getting no support or anything. So she was just yelling and everything. I was like, Mira, calm down. And she was like, I've been wanting to fight you and stuff like that over social media because she was saying that I'm going around telling everybody that my dad molested me and no one's believing me about it. So I was trying to wait till she finished talking, but she pushed me out the way. So I blinked out and I pushed her back, and she started swinging on me, and she threw me on the floor and started kicking me in my stomach multiple times. And I called the ambulance to come and get me so I can go see the doctor because I was in pain, and I didn't press charges on no one. I just wanted the case to be dismissed and just leave it alone because the officer said that we're just waiting on a court date.
Keep your mask over your face, man.
We're waiting on a court date, and y'all both just charged just be separated from each other. And I have been separated from her. But I'm in a group home. I am in job court, and I'm supposed to be working tomorrow.
Okay, so ma'am, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. That's the lowest amount that I can set where a bonding company will come in, and you can pay a percentage of the bond. Anything less than $1,000, you're gonna have to pay the entire amount. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm appointing a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. But ma'am, you're old enough now that you're gonna have to learn to distance yourself from these types of issues, okay?
So I have to spend a month in here.
No, ma'am.
I have a learning disability. I have to have certain stuff explained to me one-on-one. That's what I didn't know.
No, you now approximately need to come up with $150 to get yourself out of jail. The sheriff department will give you a list of companies that are authorized to write bonds in this county. And you need to call each one of them, tell them your name, your charge, and your bond amount. And they'll tell you how much they will charge. They will work with you. They'll put you on a payment plan. They'll do a lot of things to get you out of jail because that is literally the only thing that they do is help people get out of jail.
So my bond is $150.
Your bond is going to be $1,000.
I got to pay half.
No.
Partially 150, man. Partially 150.
Yeah, sheriff's department, they are required to add fees to the bond, so it'll be a little bit higher than $1,000. But the bonding company charges a percentage that is anywhere from 10 to 12% of the bond amount. So you're going to be looking at probably $150.
To pay half back.
Ma'am, 150, approximately 150. You got a $1,000 bond. You pay like $150.
And 12% of the $1,000 is $150. That's how much your bond is. How much you have to pay if you're. If you find out.
I have to pay my bond half of $150.
Hey, wow.
Ma'am, you're looking at paying approximately $150 out of pocket. Not half, that's what you're looking at approximately paying. Okay?
Can I call someone to help?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
That's what you put.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Tessa Tatum.
Okay. Ms. Tatum, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery, 1 count of cruelty to children in 3rd degree. Total bond is going to be set at $5,000. Can you post that bond?
How much would that be with the if I go to a bail bond,
Anywhere from 10 to 12%, ma'am.
which would be like 600? Okay.
Approximately, yes. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Are you Miss Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you charged 1 count of driving a vehicle without a license. The bond is going to be set by schedule at $1,000. Can you post that bond?
Yes, sir.
The preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. You'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay, you gonna hire your own lawyer?
Yes.
All right. If you don't have any questions, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Miss Watson?
I am.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 offenses related to drugs. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. I gotta add up your bond amount, so give me a moment.
Your Honor, I ask that you take into consideration, I have a child with special needs, and he currently is going back and forth to the doctors in North Carolina because that's where he was born. I just ask that you take that into consideration, please. And I'm currently pregnant.
Okay. This may be a little bit of an unfair question because I don't know your personal circumstance. But those things were taking place at the time that all of this stuff happened, correct?
What?
So the allegations of drug possession, use of possession of drug-related objects, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and all of that stuff. That was
all one situation, yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm adding it up. I'm sorry. So if my math adds up, you're gonna have a total bond set at $23,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
23,000?
Yes, I'm setting 5,000 for the first charge with the THC gummies, 1,500 for the use or possession of drug-related objects, 3,000 for tampering with evidence, 2,000 for possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, 5,000 for the second or manufacturer or possession with intent charge, 1,500 for the second drug-related object charge, 2,000 for possession of weapon during the commission of a crime, second count, and 2,000 for tampering with evidence. That's how it got to that amount. So I haven't tried to stack you up with bond amounts on individual charges, but you're charged with a lot.
I know. I appreciate it. If that's the lowest you can go, then that's fine.
Okay. You think you can post that bond, ma'am?
I'm gonna try my hardest.
Okay. Like I tell everybody, work the bonding companies, they will work with you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, which I am confident that you will be able to do. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to find that you qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Courtney Waters.
Okay. Ms. Waters, you're charged with one count of red light violation, which is going through a traffic light, one count of driving under influence, one count of knowingly driving with a suspended or canceled suspension, and one count of child endangerment by DUI. You're going to have a total bond set at $9,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Is there any way to go lower?
So the lowest amount that I can set for DUI is $5,000. The child endangerment is set by schedule at $2,000. The driving on a suspended or canceled registration is $1,500, and the red light violation is $500. So is the amount of charges that have added up to this amount. So that's gonna be the amount. You don't believe you can make that?
I don't know. I try. I mean, I work every day, so.
I'm sorry, I only understood every day.
I said I work every day, so I guess I could try.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of lawyer, ma'am?
Yeah.
All right. All right. You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Is there any way that you can get someone to help me get my own access because they're not allowing me to use the phone. I don't have a pen, and it's saying that I have a pen already made, and I never created one. And I keep telling them that they not letting me use the phone, so I don't even have a way to call nobody.
So you'll be allowed to use the phone after this hearing.
It's not working for me.
My understanding is that you'll be allowed to use the phone after this hearing.
Are you doing that?
Yes, sir.
Are you good now? Next.
Are you Miss Witcher?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of battery, 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of terroristic threats or acts, and 1 count of simple battery. You're gonna have a total bond set at $12,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's gonna be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Serenity Brown. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to figure out why they gave my car keys and my phone and my card, my money to her instead of without my permission.
I don't know.
What can I do about that?
Speak to your lawyer about that. And if there's any property or anything that you own that has been misappropriated, there are ways to deal with that on the civil side.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're free to go back.
What's the one?
Summer Woods.
Okay, Miss Woods, it appears that you were charged with 4 separate counts of driving under the influence of alcohol.
Huh?
You have dismissed 3 of those because I did not understand why they were charged. But you're going to have a total bond that's going to be set at $7,000.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Not completely, sir. If there's any way that anything could be lowered down a little bit, just because I am my son's full-time caregiver, he's got cancer, and I just used all my tax money and stimulus money to purchase a mobile home trailer so that I could afford for us to live in a place. We were homeless for almost a year. So and all I have is his SSI check, and the only place I could stay at was a mobile home that's $500 lot rent that we own due to me using all my tax money and the stimulus money that came in this year.
So you were charged with You're charged with 8 offenses. 3 of them are related to a child not being properly restrained, and those were $500 each.
Okay.
There's a prohibited parking, meaning you're parked in a spot or place that you shouldn't. They believe you should not have been parked in.
Yes,
that was $500. The driving under the influence, as I said, there are 4 charges of that.
Okay, I understand. I just have one question.
So it adds. It adds.
I understand. The $500. Do the bonding companies still do those, or do we have to still pay the full $500?
Because the total amount is
higher, they will bond me on it.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, so I'm going to leave it the way that it is set. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to find that you qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th.
but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
No, sir, not at all. Thank you very much, sir. Blessed day.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
That's all the females I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, and I apologize for taking up 2 hours. I'll even get to the mail side. So have a good day.
You as well, sir.
Ready, sir, on the men's side.
Okay, let's start with Mr. Agee.
Agee.
All right, Mr. Agee, you're charged with 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of use of possession of drug-related objects, and 1 count of driving a vehicle with expired tag or no light or expired registration. You're gonna have total bond set at $7,000. Can you post that bond, sir? I'm sorry, you say yes? All right. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Burris? Mr. Burris, you're charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle with expired tag, 1 count of driving a vehicle with no insurance, 1 possession of drug-related objects charge, and 1 charge or count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Your total bond is going to be set at $7,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir? You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looks like you do qualify, Mr. Burris. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Mr. Ellison?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ellison, you're charged with being a fugitive from justice. So, well, let me do this at the same time. There's another fugitive. Can we bring Mr. Jones up also, Jimmy Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ellison and Mr. Jones, the 2 of you are charged with being fugitives from justice. And what that means is that you don't have charges pending here in Clayton County, but for Mr. Ellison, there's an allegation that you are wanted out of Virginia, Westchester Police Department in Virginia, for violation of probation, and they've indicated that they want to extradite you. Mr. Jones, there's an indication that you're wanted out of the state of Indiana for a murder charge, and they've indicated that they want to extradite you also. So, because you don't have charges pending here in Clayton County, you both can take advantage of, there's a interstate compact. So every state has entered into an agreement that if somebody's found in their state that's wanted out of another state,
that state will hold that person and will send that person, will hold that person so that the requesting state, which in this case is Virginia and Indiana, for them to come get the person. You have up to 60 days for that whole process to take place. You also have a right to challenge the extradition. And that is something where a judge in Clayton County will only determine whether you are the person that's named in the warrant and whether the allegations that are placed in the warrant are in fact true charges. That's all we do. It's not whether you're guilty or innocent or anything like that. So if we make that determination, and the hearing will take place somewhere between now and 30 days from there, if we make that determination, then we sign the paperwork and the 60-day clock begins to run from there. If you were to say, look, I am Aaron Ellison, I am Jimmy Dwayne Jones, I believe that there are warrants out in Virginia or in Indiana for me, you can say, I'm going to waive that. I'm going to waive the hearing because I know who I am and I believe that these charges are out there. And if you do that, the 60-day clock begins to run today. At the end of that period of time, whether it is after the hearing and then 60 days or after 60 days from today, if Indiana or Virginia do not come and get you, then the sheriff's department here will call them and say, hey, we're releasing this person. But if that happens, that does not mean the warrant goes away. So you can walk out the front door of the jail, 5 minutes later, you're at the bus stop or whatever, and you get an encounter with the police officer and they run your information and they say, hey, there's a warrant for your arrest. They'll take you back into custody and bring you back to the jail, and the whole thing will start all over. So I'm certain that you have been spoken to about this a little bit. Mr. Ellison, do you understand what I've explained?
Yeah, can I speak on something though real quick?
Yeah.
I do understand on the extradition from Virginia, and I do understand the charges is basically it's supposed to be a probation violation out for Winchester, Virginia. The thing about that is I was already on probation papers for them, and then I ended up catching another charge, which gave me parole for the state of Tennessee that I just finished doing parole papers for. So what I'm a probation violation when I had just finished parole for another state. When you get probation, it cancels out when you get parole.
So, Mr. Ellison, did you get any paperwork to that effect?
To the effect of?
That your probation in Virginia was closed?
Well, from my probation officer, no, I haven't received any paperwork from that. But speaking to him, he said that he went to go look and he said he don't understand why Virginia even had a hold, because when you get parole from another state, you cannot be on probation nor parole at the same time. So one has to void out the other.
So, Mr. Ellison, as far as Clayton County is concerned, there's a pending warrant for your arrest. Mm-hmm. They contacted Virginia and Virginia said, yeah, we'll bring him back. That's all that Clayton County is concerned about. So those questions that you're asking, those questions have to be answered by people in Virginia.
Okay, sir, can I speak, please? Jones?
Is that Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Jones, yes.
Yes, when I was pulled in, like, I'm Jimmy Jones. I have a warrant out of Indiana. My warrant deals with parole. deals with parole. Now, in this statement right here, they already.
It could say you're the best person in the world and we want to bring him back. It doesn't matter to Clayton County because we don't deal with, sir, we don't deal with what you are charged with. We only deal with the fact that there is a warrant for your arrest.
Okay, Your Honor, when they checked in booking, because this is like the fugitive apprehension scheme, this is what they typed up. But when they checked in booking, when they booked me in and did the process, they corrected. They said, "Oh, you're right. It was just the parole warrant thing." This is what I'm saying. This is what the.
So, Mr. Jones, what you're not getting from what I said is that the warrant could say you are the best person in the world, and we want to bring him back. And guess what? You're gonna get held under the same procedures because you're the best person in the world.
Well, the murder thing is not gonna say, once I get there, they corrected everything, to get corrected where I'm at, right?
Mr. Jones, Clayton County doesn't have any dog in the fight.
I understand that. I understand all that. I'm just saying, based on me signing anything right here, I'm not saying that, I'm not admitting that I'm wanted for murder, right? I'm just saying that there's an expedition thing with it, right?
Yes. And so that's why I said it could be you are wanted for being the best person in the world. And if that were the case, would you be asking me right now, hey, if I sign this, it doesn't say that I'm the best person in the world, does it?
I'm gonna question anything I signed a bill as far as putting me in a cage. So you can say I'm God, and I will still question it, you know, because they talking about incarcerating me, taking my freedom. So all I want to say is that I'm not signing nothing to guarantee that I'm agreeing that I'm wanted for murder. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want. I don't want to make no distinctions. I get down there, they just gonna give me a trumped up charge, because this is America.
So, yes, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones. As far as Clayton County is concerned, the only thing is that you are wanted.
I want to sign the paper so I can leave immediately.
So, Mr. Jones, if you sign a waiver, it's not an admission of guilt. If you don't sign a waiver and you have a hearing and the clock starts to tick after the hearing, it is not an admission of guilt. That was the whole purpose of saying we are not determining whether you are guilty or innocent of any of the allegations. The only thing that we are concerned about is that you are the correct person named and that the charge is a true charge, which means it's something that can be litigated. So if the charge was Mr. Jones is a space alien, that's not something you can be prosecuted for. So we would say, well, yeah, you're Jimmy Jones, but the fact that you're a space alien is not something that you can be prosecuted for. So yeah, we're not going to send you back. Does that make sense to you, sir?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Ellison, have you understood what I've told you? Do you have an understanding, and do you have a preference as to whether you want to have a hearing or you want to waive a hearing?
No, I'd rather just wait it, because I mean, I've been through this process more than once, and with everything that's going on, I know what I'm gonna have to do, so I'm fine with everything.
Okay, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Have you understood everything that I said, or do you have any questions about anything that I've said?
No, I just said I signed the extradition and speed up the process. I'm trying to get this over with as soon as possible, sir.
Yes, sir. So is it your desire to waive?
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Okay, so the two of you will be presented with paperwork by the deputies, and you will sign it today, and they'll send it to me, and then I will sign it and send it back today, and the clock begins to run today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the two of you are free to go back after you sign those waivers.
Martin.
Tell me your names. Excuse me. Tell me your name, sir.
Christopher Martin Holmes.
Okay. Okay, sir, you've been charged with a number of driving related offenses. And it includes one felony charge of fleeing to elude.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay for me to just add up the charges? I'm sorry, the bond amount, because each one is basically $500.
Yeah.
So it's like so the total amount is going to be $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm hiring one, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Martin Holmes? Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Have your name, sir?
Look at this, man.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of battery. The bond's going to be set at $5,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Possibly.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Jerome Bryant. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, it looks like you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Come on.
How you doing, sir?
Your name, sir?
Anish Moore.
You said Moreland?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, you're charged with, let's see. It's like 8 offenses.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay if I just add up your total bond amount, or do you want me to read out each charge?
It's okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, by my math, the total bond amount is going to be $25,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir, with the bonding company.
You said yes, sir, with what?
Bonding company.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail.
Okay, I got a questions.
Yes, sir. You said you have a question?
Yeah, it's running through my mind. Do you know when this bail will be posted? I mean, only.
So I'm the person that basically becomes a holdup because I complete the paperwork after the hearing and I send it to the sheriff's department, and then they introduce it or put it into the file. So today is a hard day for me. I'm after I had a vaccine shot yesterday and it's affecting me today. So it's gonna be entered today.
But later on, so it's not, so I shouldn't go back and just go try to get a bond at this moment.
Well, you should tell the bonding company the amount, total amount, and they will be, because my understanding is they have access to the system within the sheriff's department, so they can see the total amount, but they can't see it until it's posted.
Okay.
So after this hearing, you're going to be able to use the phone. You can contact bonding companies. You can start making arrangements, and then they will start looking.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yesterday I was done with this whole process by now, and today I'm still in hearings. So it is just as I tell people, the more we talk now, the longer you're going to be in jail. So.
Yes, sir. I get it.
So are you going to hire your own lawyer?
No, sir.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Moreland. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Next person you go. No. Can you mask over your face, please?
Tell me your name, sir.
Keep it moving, sir.
I'm sorry?
Morera, Morrera.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act with possession of methamphetamine, one count of possession of drug-related objects, and one count of violation of Georgia seatbelt law. You're going to have a total bond that's going to be set at $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I got a full.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions for me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back.
Yeah,
Name, sir?
Simmons.
Simmons. Okay, Mr. Simmons, you're charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. The bond is going to be set at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Possibly. Is there any way you can drop it down another 1,000? Then I'll be sure I could probably make it.
No, I'm going to leave it where it is.
All right. God.
There's going to be a stay away provision to stay away from Willis Simmons. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that'll be it, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, go ahead, man. We can say put up Give me your name, sir. Brandon Hogan. This is Hogan. I'm trying to get us back in line, Your Honor. I apologize.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hogan, you're charged with 1 count of improper turn or failing to signal for a turn, and 1 count of driving a vehicle without a on a suspended license. You're going to have a total bond set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. About those charges, I was actually sitting on the side of the road waiting on my insurance to come get my Camaro, because I did not get pulled over by police physically. What happened was I was going up the road and I just got my tires changed on my Camaro like 2 hours prior to that happening. And I was going up the road and my front right tire went left, and it caused me to turn, and I went in the ditch, and I automatically called my insurance. My insurance had a tow truck on the way, but Clayton County, they pulled up and they asked me, was I okay? I said, yes, my insurance is on the way. I already talked to my insurance. And that's when they start doing everything, asking me my name and just, running my tags, but I didn't physically get pulled over. At one point in time, they didn't even know what to charge me with because they didn't physically see everything that they charged me with. You understand what I'm saying?
I do hear you, Mr. Hogan. That sounds like a perfect defense for these charges to be dismissed, but this is not
physically, they literally pulled up. Like, I was already taken care of with my insurance. And then another thing is they took my car to the record instead of releasing my car to my insurance, which it would have been free.
So this is not, you ain't going over the case right now.
I know, I'm just trying to get everything. I'm not even supposed to be here.
So, Mr. Hogan, let me ask you this question. Are you an active voter?
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, can I vote?
No, not can you vote. Are you an active voter?
Yes.
So these are the types of things that you need to come to county commission meetings to discuss. These are not things that I can deal with.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not trying to be dismissive of what you're telling me, but the community has to be responsible for how it's policed. I'll say that. So if you believe that you are treated unfairly by the police department, that's something that you should take up with the chief of police. that's also something that you should address with the county commission.
Your Honor, I'm not saying I was treated unfairly. I'm just saying, like, if I tell you guys I got an insurance truck on the way and y'all ask me I'm okay, I wish it could have just stayed that way, because my car would have been in my driveway and I would have been in my bed at home asleep.
I agree.
So I'm just saying, if they would have never pulled up, I would have been okay. You understand what I'm saying?
So, Mr. Hogan, all I'm saying is I'm not the appropriate person to tell that to.
Right,
In
right.
order for you to be able to get the type of result that you need. I don't look at anybody here as being evil or bad.
Yes, sir.
As you can tell, I refer to everyone as Mr. or Mrs. and Sir and Ma'am, because you're all human beings.
Yes, sir.
So if that's something that is important to you, I would encourage you to apply it forward in the appropriate form.
I will do so.
Are you going to hire your own lawyer? You're going to represent yourself? Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
How much do you make per hour or per month?
I get paid $500 every Friday.
So that's all right. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have anything else, Mr. Hogan?
That's it.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kent Johnson.
Okay, Mr. Johnson. You're charged with 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of laying drags, open container violation, and driving under the influence of alcohol. You're going to have a total bond that's going to be set at $7,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 8th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
I said I appreciate Your Honor, but I'll retain my own lawyer.
Okay. You have any questions for me, Mr. Johnson?
You said 7,500 was the bond, right?
Yes, sir.
No, Your Honor. I have no more questions.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Saho.
Good afternoon. You're Mr. Saho? Sir, you've been charged with reckless driving, parking in or improperly stopped, obstructing an officer of public indecency. The obstructing an officer is being charged as a felony. So you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you get a new court date in the mail. You're going to have a total bond amount that's going to be set at, hold on, let me add it up. $7,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Travis Jenkins, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, several offenses.
aggravated assault, family violence, battery, obstructing an officer, criminal damage to property in the second degree, and cruelty to children. Give me 1 second, sir.
Sure.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jenkins. I was just double checking because I thought that you were on parole.
No, sir.
And it looks like you're not.
No.
So I'm setting bond on these offenses.
Can I ask you, can I ask you something, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I understand that there's the charges, the number of charges, and it's a variety of charges. But this stems from something that happened maybe 3-4 years ago, and it was a major misunderstanding on my behalf and her behalf. And since then, we have a daughter together. We have starting up a business together, and actually Tread Landscape is on Google, LLC. And I just asked that if I could get some sort of leniency as far as a bond reduction, and that way I could get out and I could be able to either obtain a lawyer or, just be able to present my case in another manner.
So that was the thing that I was looking at and I was concerned about in this particular case, because this is something that it really, with the aggravated assault allegation, it's something that you could be like no bonded on. And I have not set bond on people, but I'm gonna set a $15,000 bond on the aggravated assault charge. 5,000 on the battery, obstruction, the criminal damage in the second degree, going to be $2,000 and $3,000 bonds, and then a $3,000 bond on cruelty to children.
So that's going to leave you with a total bond of $28,000. And there's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Janice Crispin. And I understand what you're telling me as it relates to that. But I have to act from using my best judgment. So it does not appear that you are a person. I mean, you do have a criminal history, but it doesn't appear that this is the type of thing that continues in your history. So I don't know what took place, but I'm gonna set the bond at that amount. You're gonna have, hold on 1 second. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. And is it your plan to hire your own lawyer?
If I can get one appointed, it'll be.
Okay. You said you're starting a business.
Yeah, me and Janice.
I'm sorry.
Me and Janice Crispin, we have a business, Tread. We started up Tread Landscape LLC.
Okay, so how much do you estimate that you personally bring home, not the business?
Me personally, like I said, just getting started, so it's in the growth stage. It'd be $800 a week. I want to say.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to find that you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have anything else for me, Mr. Jenkins?
I don't think I was asking that you show. Could you please show me some limits on the reduction of the bond, sir? I mean,
so it's hard when the allegation by warrant, where a police officer came in to a judge and swore that the police officer knew these facts, when they say aggravated assault by strangulation is no, I didn't say you did it. I didn't say you did it. That's the allegation, right? So you agree that this is the first time I've met you. This is the first time you've met me. So that is the allegation. And I generally do not set bond on those offenses because in my opinion, listen to me. In my opinion, when you can control yourself. So if there's an allegation that I strangled my wife, right? That's something that whether I did or whether I didn't do it, the fact that it's even become a possibility, it becomes an issue. So just so you understand, if you are in a position where Miss Crispin has lied on you to say that you strangled her, you should not be starting a business with her. Stop. Let me say one more thing and then I'll let you speak. If you are starting a business with her, it's possible that you did strangle her, but she forgave you.
See, I was unaware of the charge.
Okay.
I left the house. I didn't know it was an aggravated assault, all these charges. I left because she gets irate when she off. And so I left. And now I'm here on these charges. Now, mind you, this was back in 2018. And I'm
right. So, Mr. Jenkins, do you believe you should be with her if she did what you just said she did?
No, sir.
But you're starting a business with her.
See, that's what I'm saying.
we have been found, but I was unaware of the charge. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let you go because I've been holding up this whole thing way too long. You said that she gets angry and then you left.
We got argued.
Okay, so I'm Mr. Jenkins, I'm gonna tell you with 20 plus years of experience as a defense lawyer, it never ends well for people like you.
I know, sir.
You always end up in those orange jumpsuits saying, I don't know why they said this. I don't know this. So, hey, you know, as they say, to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Stay away from me, I got you.
All right, free to go back, sir.
So how much is the bond, sir?
27,000, I think, 500. It's 26,000. $26,000, yes, sir. All right, you're free to go back, sir.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Mr. Thomas?
Okay, Mr. Thomas, you're charged with one count of identity fraud. I'm going to set the bond at $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yeah.
You have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
All right. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Jeremiah Wheeler.
Okay, Mr. Wheeler, you have a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 offenses. Family violence, battery, tampering with evidence, 3 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, use of possession of drug-related objects, theft by receiving stolen property, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Let me add up your bond amount. Okay. Your total bond amount is going to be $32,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Not really. The young lady that came on here, named Kyra Watson, that's my baby mama. So, you know, I was trying to get her out first, and then me and my family can work on trying to get me out. Like she said, my son was born in North Carolina. He got ostomy bag taken off maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. So we got one more appointment out there to go to, which is tomorrow. And after that, we're gonna get, you know, everything switched to Georgia because she's gonna be moving here for good or whatever. But yeah, it's like trying to bond both of us out. And I appreciate if you can make it a little bit lower so we both could be able to get out. You know, she actually is pregnant right now too. Also, we're trying to prepare for the next child. But
It'll be kind of hard to get both of us out. Hers 23,000 and mine's 32,000.
Based upon the allegations in these warrants, I'm not inclined to reduce the bond amount. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for June 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes? Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you qualify, Mr. Wheeler. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No, sir. You said 32,000 or was it 32?
Yes, sir.
32,000 even?
Yes, sir. All right, you're free to go back. You're Mr. Wyatt?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you charged one count of simple battery. The bond is going to be set at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Morris Lattimore. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be June 8th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Sure.
All right, you do qualify, Mr. Wyatt. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Sure.
Okay, sir, that should do it.
Thank you. I apologize, and I appreciate your patience. I feel like I feel horrible, but I know I got to finish this paperwork.